And you can pretty much do it
Toker and Maz.
in perpetuity.
Yep. The Sports Hub.
Up the middle, Turner behind the bag. The shortstop slings it. Close and got him. Durant firing up that line. Gasper with a high fly into right center field. Crawford and Garcia. And Garcia has it. 2 fast outs. And Abreu next. Off the collarbone area. Fly in left field. And Marsh is there. And that's going to be a very quick 6-pitch inning for Zach Wheeler. I think over 110 miles an hour. Whoa. He's going to get drilled. Nowhere to run or hide from Masataka Yoshida. And he becomes the first base runner for the Sox. Trevor Story. And a ground ball to short. Turner to Stott. Got one on the first in time for the double play. Gently hit. Turner will gun on and retire the side. Back-to-back 6-pitch innings for Zach Wheeler. Line drive into right center. Marcelo Meyer leads off with a base hit. The Red Sox have their first knock against Zach Wheeler, who had retired the first 6 batters tonight on a total of 12 pitches. Flying to right center field. Crawford moving over on the run. He'll make the catch. Ground ball right side. Stott with the flip. Got one on the first. Close and got him with the double play. And the side will be retired. Sox are trailing 2-0 to Zach Wheeler, who has thrown a total of 16 pitches in 3 innings.
Easy outs. That's the answer. Easy outs.
I love it.
Easy outs. This happened against the Yankees when Max Fried pitched. I think he had a 6-pitch inning and a 4-pitch inning. He had a 4-pitch inning, Max Fried did, where he allowed a base runner. Think of that. It means he got 3 outs on 2 pitches. It's virtually impossible to do. You got a double play and then a quick out.
Maz, if you were still covering the Red Sox, I'd have a great story idea for you. Great story idea. You find you have to turn into a hater for a little bit.
Okay.
You're a hater, and you start asking scouts from other teams, what are the Red Sox doing with these young guys especially? Have they screwed them up? Because if you think about it, just a few years ago, they were the envy of baseball with their farm system.
Yep.
Roman Anthony at one point was the number 1 prospect in baseball, wasn't he?
Correct.
So you had Roman Anthony, you got Marcelo Meyer, you got Christian Campbell. Oh, they've been blessed with all these prospects. Now, the kid that they traded away to get Crochet Teal, he's doing all right.
I haven't seen how he's done this season.
He did all right last year, didn't he?
Yeah, at the end of last year, he played okay.
Yeah.
I know he was injured to start the year.
But I'm just wondering, if the Red Sox, because it could be, maybe the answer is both. Because with prospects, we all do it. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. We can't help it. We look at a prospect, 21, 22 years old, or even younger. I'm like, oh, he's going to be great. Oh, you can't trade him. We all fall in love with prospects. And sometimes those guys just can't play.
Correct.
So is it that these guys are overrated? I hope not. Or I really hope, I'm going to tell you, it's agenda-free. So I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I want it to be the Red Sox have screwed them up. That they're good, that the Red Sox with their just twisted philosophy have really gotten into the heads of these young players. And I know injuries factor into it as well. But the Red Sox have actually taken the blessings of these prospects and just sent them way left.
Well, so here's what I can tell you. Kyle Harrison has gone to the Brewers and pitched well. Quinn Priester went to the Brewers and pitched well. James Tibbs went to the Dodgers minor league system. He's cooled off now, but he's having a good year in AAA and looks like he might be a prospect. They acquired Tibbs and Harrison from the Giants for Rafael Devers and then traded them both off. They both went to other organizations and played better than they did here.
What does that tell you?
Tells me that the Red Sox are screwing this up.
Right.
Here's the other half of that equation, Michael. The guys that they have kept that they could have dealt at various points, like Duran after his All-Star game season, Tristan Casas after his strong second half one year, Bobby Dahlbeck after the second half of 2021, hit 25 home runs that year, had a great second half, was one of the best hitters in the sport. No, so all this is not Breslow, but they whiffed on that one. They might have whiffed on Marcelo Meyer, who they had a chance to trade and held on to. They might have been able to get something for Brian Bayo at one point. They didn't get it. So they've held on to a lot of guys that could have gotten them something, and they butchered it.
And this is where Dombrowski was great. I'm not trying to say
he was very good at that.
Dombrowski hung the moon. I'm not trying to say that, but Dombrowski came in. He spent money. We know that. But he also looked at the prospects in the system. There were a lot of guys who had a lot of hype. He traded them away, and we learned he made the right decisions.
He kept the right ones.
He kept the right ones.
He did. Yes, he did. That is right. Let me just bring in quickly a couple of quick calls. Tom and Quincy. Tom, what do you got, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Hey, it's funny. After a home offensively inept series against another team, every time you turn around now, there's another historical stat on how bad the offense is. And this isn't like, oh, this is the worst thing since 1992. This is the worst thing since, 2000. No. This is the worst thing since 1917. This is the worst home series, the offensive scoring at home since 1932 or whatever it is. So when guys like Tracy are put in charge of this team with no professional experience whatsoever, he's handed this awful roster, which from day one we've all said they're going to have a hard time scoring runs. But this isn't me just being an ass and ripping them because I hate the team right now. This is historically bad. I will take the 92 Red Sox with Brudnansky and Boggs and Vaughn, Greenwell, and anything over literally any offensive player that they currently have on this roster. So they are awful. And when you start talking about teams in a historic aspect where the franchise has been around for 125 years or whatever the hell it is, and you're coming to the point where it's the worst performance since 1917, the worst performance since 1920, the worst performance since 1932. It doesn't matter what manager you put in charge of this. This team sucks.
He's the best. My favorite caller of all time. And he's 100% right. This team does suck.
Tom, this team sucks. There it is. And Tom's right. You know why you have historical numbers? Because the Red Sox are damn arrogant. They're so arrogant. I'm just using it. We mentioned Red Sox Yankees earlier in a different context. If you're the general manager of the Yankees, you know what you're not going to do? You're not going to look at the porch and write and go, nah, I'm going to ignore that. No, you're not going to ignore that. You're going to get guys who can reach it. It's right field. It's Yankee Stadium. You build your team around that. And you know why this is one of the worst offenses since 1917, 1907? I saw that stat come up. Because these guys thought they would just reinvent it. Oh, I know we have a wall that's 300 feet away, maybe. It's probably even less than that. It's 300 feet away. And if I get a big right-handed hitter, he just kind of peppers the wall there. We'll get doubles. We'll be a doubles team. If we're not a homers team, we'll get a doubles team. No. They ignore the dimensions of Fenway Park, and they want to do run prevention. The reason that it hasn't happened, the reason these numbers like that, because previous general managers, no matter what you think of them over the years, whether it's Chaim Bloom, whether it's Ben Cherington, Lou Gorman, going all the way back, Dan Duquette, they're like, hey, we got the gift of this wall. So we're going to build our offense around that, and then we'll try to fill in the flaws in other places. And these guys think they're going to do something different that has never been done in the history of Fenway Park. So it's their arrogance, Tony, that has put them in this position.
Michael, and they even carry it further. And by that I mean, okay, so they whiffed on Alex Bregman. Their solution was Caleb Durbin, who hit 11 home runs. But the analytics tell you that he hits fly balls in the air. So you know what? They brought him in and told him to hit more. And you know what happened? His batting average dropped through the floor.
Can I tell you what he is?
But the point is, you can't change a player into something he's not. And that is what they're doing with some of these guys. But go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what he is. He is a great defensive replacement. That's what he is.
He's a bench player.
He is a defensive replacement. You got a lead, seventh inning. You're trying to protect the lead. You put in Durbin. He's a sure-handed guy. I'll give him that. He's a sure-handed third baseman. He's good. He can't hit a lick. He's no good.
No.
He's not a starter.
4A player, and they get a lot of those right now. We'll get to more on the Red Sox later on in the show. I know there have been some Celtics stuff out there, too, that we've talked about during the week. We're going to want to get back to the NFL schedule, too. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. And there was a take from Bill Simmons on his podcast. Or, Jimmy, who was with him on that podcast? The other guy's really the one
Something named Brian Curtis.
Okay, Brian Curtis. Well, they had an interesting take that, we're going to play
Probably his cousin or something. I don't know.
A media guy. He's a media guy. He's their media critic.
Oh.
We're going to play you something from their podcast because it agrees with what I said yesterday.
Perfect.
Way to do it. That's how you do it.
And who said it's agenda-free on this Friday on Felger and Mazz?
I want to get to the gossip first.
Everything you said is right.
Felger and Mazz, the Sports Zone.
And the NFL now, they're going to have 9 international games this year. They're pretty transparently discussing how the 18-week schedule is coming. First week, we go Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday. The playoffs don't start until January 16th, and the Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day. So they've just declared war on everybody's lives. And we love the NFL, and we're addicted to it like it's a drug, and we can't fight back. But is there a tipping point where there's just going to be too much?
You know, remember that quote from the executive who said we've reached peak TV 10 years ago?
Right.
And it wasn't just about the quality of TV, it was about how much. This feels like peak sports TV, except I don't know that we're quite there yet.
Jimmy's ready to strangle me today, Michael, because about 15 minutes ago we went to 3:09. We were supposed to be done at 3 o'clock, top of the hour.
I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure out the clock now. What kind of clock? Is this a new clock here?
So, Michael, as you know, of my passive-aggressive nature, I go in Tony's headphones and I go, 3:09,
But you got his attention, though.
Stu, I learn from the best. I ignore the clock. When I'm on a hot topic, I let it ride.
The clock doesn't matter.
Back in my day, it doesn't matter. They're still listening. Look at what Howard did. Look at what Amos did.
I was just going to say.
learned from both of those guys. They never respected the clock.
I was always saying, do you think Howard pays attention to the clock?
Exactly right, yeah. So
You do characters here, Howard.
Anyway, there was Brian Curtis with Bill Simmons talking about the NFL, and Bill Simmons asked the question that I asked yesterday, or I believe, the question is there a tipping point, Michael, with football? Too much football. Is there a point where we're getting to oversaturation or supersaturation with football? Games on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday when the college season ends. And I do wonder if we're starting to approach that where it's getting a little bit silly.
I don't think it's the day of the week. I think you're right church, wrong pew. So if you got football on Monday, the Patriots opener is on Wednesday. We'll adjust. It's fine. Friday, Saturday, okay. Thanksgiving Eve, Black Friday. That's not the problem. The problem is, and I think this will be an issue for fans, it's the international games. Now, I know that makes me sound like hey, are you got a problem? Are you some xenophobe or something? No. But the international games mean that you've got to change your routines. So if you tell me there's a football game on Wednesday, it's Wednesday night. I don't really, okay, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Okay, same time, just a different day. But international games mean 9:30 in the morning on Saturday. I don't want to watch a game at 9:30 in the morning. Oh, I got to figure out the time difference, and you're doing this thing to me because the game's in Munich, the game's in Australia, the game's here, the game's there. I think that will piss people off. But more football, I don't have a problem with more football. It's where you're putting some of these games and how it's affecting the times. I think that bothers people.
Yeah, I mean, it's oversaturated in some parts. I don't want them I like the thought of the Wednesday night game on Thanksgiving week. I don't want to see Wednesday night games now spread throughout the season, but I'm sure they're going to start doing that because the response to it's going to be great. They're going to get great numbers from that, and then they're going to delude themselves into thinking, we could do this at different points in the season, which I think that's where it's going to start to get stupid.
Yeah, so, and Murray, I said this to you yesterday. The idea of a game on a Wednesday night Thanksgiving week in and of itself, no problem. Okay, fine. But if you're going to give me Wednesday night and then 3 on Thanksgiving and then another one on Friday, I don't want all 3. I don't.
You don't want all 3 games?
I don't. I would rather have, either Wednesday or Friday. Thanksgiving's always been there. It was 2 games traditionally.
Right.
Obviously, they've
Give me an extra game.
Okay,
I'm good with it.
They've gone to a third. I have a hard time watching 3 full games in one day. I really do. I have a hard time doing it. By the time I get to the third one, my head's spinning, my eyes are glassing over, forget it. So I just it's too much time in front of the TV. But the third day, I'm not going to watch on Friday afternoon on Black Friday. I'm not going to do it. I can't do Wednesday night all day Thursday into Thursday night and then Friday. I just think it's too much. No, I'm just telling you me. I'm not telling you I'm representative of the entire American public. There are a lot of people out there that are fine with having football in every day. I just think they're getting to the point where they're going to cause themselves some problems.
This is the third year I think they're doing that Black Friday game. I haven't watched those other two. But if I'll make time for that Bruins game, that's typically the early matinee game they have. And they'll play like the Red Wings, usually at the Garden. But that's the sports for me for the day. I got things to do on that Friday that I have off. I'm not sitting around. I think the first one was Jets-Dolphins. I remember being like, I'm not watching this.
I think that's it, Murray. I think it depends on the game. Because last year, I think it was Chicago-Philadelphia, and I was shocked that Chicago just kicked Philadelphia's ass in Philly. And they just ran all over them. It was, DeAndre Swift and Monangai. They were going back and forth. And I was looking at it saying, what's wrong with Philly? But really, I was looking at it the wrong way. I was like, Chicago is actually real. And that's when I started to see some of the, to bring it full circle, I started to see some of the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts issues starting in that game and really continuing the rest of the season. But it all depends on that. So Chicago, Philly, yeah, you watch that game. But Jets, Dolphins, nah, that's all right. Don't need to see that one.
Yeah, so the problem is obviously on those, special event games, if that's what you want to call them, they're going to put good matchups in those games because they're trying to sell them to the streaming services and they want to get the money and that whole thing. And I understand the business aspect of it. Look, far be it from me to stand in the way of someone making a few bucks. But with the NFL, I also admit, and I said this yesterday, the idea of going into the deal that they have with the networks.
Yeah.
And renegotiating it
just
after.
for more money. Yeah.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
They're making plenty. They're making enough. And now they're going to leverage it. And the networks are pissed. And this is why, the Department of Justice has gotten involved. Like, or at least people like Rupert Murdoch have turned to Trump and trying to put some leverage on the NFL. And I think this is going to be how it happens.
Yeah. People like Rupert Murdoch are so pissed that, no, we're not going to kill the story. No, you're not going to buy this stuff from me. I want to make sure I have your attention.
Yep. Murray will get you caught up on headlines. I'm trying to hit this break on time, Murray. Chris Gasper is a short time from joining us. We'll get his thoughts on the expansion, if you want to call it that, of the NFL or the, what's the right word? The money grab. The shameless money grab that goes on in the NFL. We'll touch on that as well with Gasper a little later on, and I promise when we come back, Scott and Canton, Stone and Natick, we'll get to your calls right out of the gate. That's next.
Now, more of Felger and Maz. Now, on the Sports Hub.
The Lightning Round, brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors.
Lightning Round is brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. When the unthinkable happens, fire, flood, storm, or structural damage, our guys at Blue Sky are ready to respond 24/7. They take care of everything from beginning to end. So if you're experiencing water damage from all the rain recently, visit gobluesky.com. There's no E in blue in Blue Sky. It's BLUSKY.com. Gobluesky.com. You ready, Michael?
Maz, this makes my weekend already. The Lightning Round, zip, zip. My weekend is made. Okay. I love this. Thank you.
We'll start with Stone and Natick. Stone, go ahead.
May I insult the Red Sox really quick after my LeBron point?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Lightning Round.
LeBron and the Celtics would be fun, except I think he'd put Missoula's head in a toilet. And when your lineup can only score off errors and sign stealing, it means you're garbage. Your thoughts?
Go ahead, Michael.
I don't think LeBron and the Celtics would be fun. I don't think that's what he'll do. If he plays he's got two options next year, I think. He's either going to go back to the Lakers or he's going to the Cavaliers.
I think the Cavs, are the prohibitive Vegas favorite, I think.
For the third time.
You got any inside dope on LeBron?
You know what? I do have inside dope on LeBron.
See, I figured you might because of your Ohio roots.
Yeah, but it's not me.
Breaking sports news.
You know what? I told the story last night. You know who had the inside story on LeBron and I didn't listen because I was going on vacation? My mother, who still lives in Akron and is a member of the LeBron James Grandmothers Club, Murray.
That's a thing.
There's a LeBron James Grandmothers Club. My mother's in it. I was going on vacation right before the decision. She leaves these long voicemails. I'm talking like my mother, like 3 minutes. Okay, and then, hey, you remember this woman from Abel Street? I'm like, no, I don't. Okay, and she keeps going on. And then I did this, and she ends this voicemail. True story. In 2010, ends the voicemail. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I was downtown and I was talking to the guys, and LeBron's going to Miami. Bye.
Yeah.
And I didn't go with it. I did. She had it. She had it cold. This is before the
decision was even aired.
She knows it.
See that? Holly's mother knew.
That's right. So I'm gonna call up mom. And be like, hey mom, is LeBron coming back, or is he going back to the Lakers? She'll know.
Yeah, ask your mother.
That's my
a good idea. It's a good life advice
NBA insider.
At the same time.
NBA insider Marilyn Holly.
Ask mom. Lightning round again. Lightning round. So try to be succinct and to the point. Josh is in Marblehead. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, guys, just a quick comment about the Patriots schedule. I do think they're probably a 7 or 8 win team. I don't think in free agency they did enough to really climb and get to 10, 11 wins. But my big concern is holding Kraft accountable and the fans accountable and making sure that if they do not do well this season, that they make the adjustments next season, because the schedule is never going to get easier than it was. So you got to just keep improving, and we can't use an excuse like the schedule. I don't want to hear people saying, oh, like last year was so easy and now it's too tough. Like, I want to hear the Patriots say, it doesn't matter what year it is, we got to improve.
So it's a good point. You're not going to get many years easier than you did a year ago. Talk about everything going your way. You know, Vrabel came in, the thing caught fire. You had young guys who, I would say their performance, I'm talking about Will Campbell, I guess. Their performance was a little overrated, but because of the quality of the competition or lack thereof, you ended up having a pretty good year. You then caught playoff opponents at the right time, teams without quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud was horrible. Jarrett Stidham was worse. I got you to the Super Bowl where you got your ass kicked, but even so. Like, you don't get many years like that where it falls together like that.
And Josh talks about holding Kraft accountable. I think for Kraft, it's very simple. Hey, do you bring on A.J. Brown, that's money. Do you then turn around, regardless of what happens this season, do you sign Christian Gonzalez? And I think I think that they're going to sign Drake May. That's where the ownership part comes in. If he takes care of that, okay, you're off the hook. Now it's on Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf to keep building the roster.
Nick in Providence in the lightning round. Next up, Nick wants to talk about the Red Sox. What do you got, Nick?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. This team isn't only bad. This team is pathetic. They're boring and they're pitiful. They are below league average in batting average. They're below league average in on-base percentage. They're bottom 2 in the league in slugging, bottom 4 in OPS, bottom 3 in RBIs and home runs. What does this team do well? Pitch? Their pitching is league average, C+ at best. I don't know if it's the suck players or the futile philosophy, likely a combination of the two, but this team has no appeal factor, no star power. They're unwatchable. I don't have any interest in this team whatsoever, and that's coming from me. That's saying a lot.
So, I'll just say this quickly because this gets lost a lot. People say they don't hit for power, and you automatically think, well, they're at the bottom of the league in home runs. Fenway Park is a great place for doubles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's typically the number one ballpark in baseball for doubles just about every year. If it's not number one, it's in the top 5. Every single year, doubles galore because of the angles of the ballpark and the left field wall. Self-explanatory. The Red Sox are in the middle of the pack in doubles. They don't even hit that many doubles. In all the years where I thought the Red Sox didn't have
it's so weird, isn't it?
No, even years where they didn't hit home runs, they had a lot of guys who could hit doubles. These guys don't even do that. Like their slugging percentage, I don't have it right in front of me. I want to say it's like 360. It's absurdly low. Their offense blows.
All right, so let me ask you this, Mass. With the available players right now, so we're Roman Anthony. You can't say Roman Anthony because, shockingly, I don't think he's coming off the injured list tonight. I don't think that's going to happen since he hasn't had any baseball activity. Of the guys available, if you had to say, if somebody says, "Hey, Maz, who's the Red Sox best player right now?" Who is it?
Positional player?
Who's their best positional player? Isn't that? I mean,
Abreu probably. Abreu or Contreras, one of those two. But that's it.
And that's not.
And most people couldn't pick either of those guys out of a lineup.
Abreu's. I mean, he's good. I don't think he's going to be a star.
He's not a star.
He's good,
and neither is Contreras. But so I would tell you, neither one of those guys is an all-star. I wouldn't call either one of those guys an all-star player. but they're everyday big leaguers. I
Right.
think they're both everyday big leaguers. But no, you're not wrong. I mean, they don't have one.
Well, on your typical Red Sox team, a team that hits doubles and is capable of taking the ball out of the park, the teams that we've seen over the years, those guys, both of them are probably, number 6 or number 7 hitters?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what good.
Yeah.
Respectable.
On a really good team, if you had, I'm just trying to think of who you could put, if you had a legit right-handed hitter to put next to Roman Anthony, and Anthony were performing like he did last year. So that's 2 big ifs, okay? But if you had a legit right-handed hitter, I'm trying to think of, who would be the good I was going to say Aaron Judge, but he's he's once in a lifetime kind of guy. But if you had a legit righty bat, to put next to Roman Anthony, and you had Contreras 5 and Abreu 6, or vice versa,
you're doing all right.
You're okay.
You're still doing all right.
You're okay. Yeah, you're good enough in the middle of the lineup. They don't have anything close to that. And now Anthony's gone bad on them too, which I think is related to the way that they have handled it. Let's try to sneak in one more call here on the lightning round. This is Ari in Brookline, who wants to also talk about the Red Sox. Go ahead, Ari.
Hey, so I know you talked about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa not being the problem because he's the 25th man on the roster, but doesn't it just speak to the fact that they have no feel for the fan experience? Nick Sogard, Nate Eaton, they were big bats and exciting players in September and October last year. And what can Isaiah Kiner-Falefa do that these guys can't do? Instead, they bring back some aging veteran, no pop, no juice, no nothing. There's nothing to look forward to in the lineup. At least if you were bringing up some of the young guys, there's a little juice with the team. Why they gave this guy $6 million and trot him out every third day makes absolutely no sense to me.
Ari, it's an excellent point. He was a complete waste of money. They cornered the market on useless utility guys. They love the utility guy. They love it.
Yeah, they love the utility guy. But also, if you look at the roster, if you look at their outfielders, and we were just talking about, Contreras and Abreu and all. Okay, but if you look at the other guys, Rafaela, okay, fine. What's the purpose of Yoshida?
Zero.
Like what are you doing? What are you doing with him? And you shouldn't have Jarren Durant. Like, what are you doing with him? It's almost like they don't sit Durant down. They just keep playing. They're throwing him out there. Why do they do that? It's clear that he is scuffling. Why do they just keep throwing him out there? And if the problem with the team is that we got 5 outfielders, we got all this. I know Roman Anthony's hurt, but if you have a surplus of outfielders, maybe you should switch it up a little bit and see if you can get a spark somewhere. But it's amazing to me that you've got 3 guys, and here we are in late May or mid-May. You got 3 guys who still are fighting or life and death with 200.
Yeah, the biggest problem on the team, Michael, is the shortage of, high-end talent on the roster. They had 2 needs going into the offseason. They needed a legit middle-of-the-order right-handed bat that could hit the ball out of the ballpark, and they needed a legit bona fide number 2 starter, if you ask me.
Right.
Now, Suarez has pitched well. Sonny Gray's actually been pretty good too. But they lost Crochet. I still would have rather had Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, to me, is a legitimate number 2 type of pitcher. So they didn't get it. Early in the year, they missed it. It's still early in the year. The lineup thing was a complete disaster. I think Breslo's got no real feel for the offensive side of the game. And this idea that you can mix and match with your lineup all the time in platoon and generate the same kind of offense is asinine. They should have traded the lefties you're talking about. When you and this is part of the thing of missing the opportunity. When you have Duran and Yoshida and Abreu and Roman Anthony, that's 4 outfielders for 3 spots. You can't keep them all unless you want to play Roman Anthony at first base. Okay? That's it.
Yeah.
But they didn't get proactive on it. They held on to all of them. They should have moved Durant 2 off seasons ago. They didn't. So what happens? They have an imbalanced roster. They're lacking star power, and they don't have a real high-end pitcher behind Crochet.
Injury aside, are you worried about Roman Anthony talent-wise?
Yes.
Just being able to figure it out and become not just a good player, but a great player, because that's what the projection is for him.
I'm not worried about his talent.
You're not worried about his talent at all?
I'm not. I think he can hit. Now, the defense is something different.
Right.
I think at best he's an average outfielder. I'm not even sure he's that.
Or a good first baseman, throwing at first base,
right.
as you said.
But the defense to me is secondary because with him it's about the bat. He's supposed to be something close to a 300 hitter with 30 homers and 100 RBI. He's supposed to be that kind of guy, and I think there's raw ability there. What I am worried about is what they've done to his head.
Yeah.
And the environment they've put him in where he's got to burden the lineup when he's 21 years old in a market like this, and that's a tough one to carry. There aren't many guys that can handle that.
Yeah, you're right. And you see that, Alex Spear wrote that article probably about a month ago where he kind of moved the goalpost a little bit. Where like, hey, 21-year-old guys, 21-year-old guys struggle. And okay, that's a fair point. Yes. 21-year-old stars or 21-year-old prospects, whatever you want to call them, do struggle and figure it out. The reason I'm worried is who's he figuring it out with?
Correct.
Who's in the front office that's talking to him? Who's in the clubhouse that's talking to him? And how does he process that? Who does he trust? Who is he listening to?
So I'll give you a good example. Junior Caminero is the same age as Roman Anthony. He had 45 home runs last year in Tampa Bay. It's not the same market. Someone's not going to be there in the middle of the clubhouse looking for Junior Caminero to explain why he, can't throw to home plate or why the team's struggling. It's just not the same deal. And Boston's not what he used to be, but it still has some of it. And so all that's falling on Anthony, and what's happening? He's crumbling under the weight of it. I think they're ruining the kid. Now, again, it takes a lot to really bury him because a guy can come out of it. I mean, it just, now he has an injury on top of it. But I think they've put him in a horrible position.
And
horrible.
Do you remember, and you can look up the numbers, but I recall when Mookie Betts was called up. Because I'm going to put him in that category because, that this is what we've been talking about with Roman Anthony, face of the franchise. When Mookie Betts was called up, say 2014, 2015, somewhere around there, you remember he struggled.
He did.
And then he figured it out.
He did.
Corrected. But I'm going to give him part of the credit. But think about who was on the roster at the time, Tony.
Yep.
You still had David Ortiz here. Yep. You still had Xander Bogaerts here. You still had Dustin Pedroia. You had guys around him where he could put the work in himself and do his own video work, but he also had veterans who had a track record of success, and that factored into it. So I'm just worried about not just the guy. I'm worried about the infrastructure of the organization. What do they value? I'm not sure they value traditional baseball truths. And we saw a glimpse of that with the Jim Rice situation. That still holds true where Jim Rice says, hey, once you do this, and somebody comes over to Rice and says, nah.
No, listen.
We don't teach it like that.
No, what you're saying is I'm not worried about the ability of the player. I'm worried about the environment.
All the stuff around him.
The environment.
Yep.
The environment. A lot of guys have been ruined by that. I mean, what happens? You bring them up in a losing environment. You know what happens? They become losers. That's what happens. If we're going to praise the Red Sox, the early part of this ownership for building a winning culture, and Pedroia and Lester and Ellsbury and Papelbon all coming up in a winning culture, which is what it was, and we did praise them for it. I know I did.
I did too.
Then the opposite also has to be true, which means that now you have a losing environment and you're putting them in a losing culture. Not a good combination. We'll take a break here. Murray's going to get you caught up on headlines here in just a bit. Chris Gasper, the Globe, will be joining us in just a matter of minutes on Felger and Mass.